Hello and welcome to part 2 of this restoration vlog. The bike, as you can see, has now been fully stripped and it's time to remove the paint from the frame and the forks. So I checked out YouTube and the general consensus was that people were using paint stripper and then they'll be scraping it off and then using sandpaper and then sanding back the frame and getting it back to bare metal, and it looks quite laborious. So I thought, well, I'll try something else. So what I did, I got hold of a wire brush attachment that goes into a angle grinder, and I thought I'd give that a go. It was really easy. I don't know if that was because the paint was so old and maybe it was coming off the frame easier. I don't know, but I kind of managed to whip through the frame and the forks in about 2.5 hours, and then I got into all the nooks and crannies and did that by hand. But yeah, it was a real kind of time saver. So yeah, if anyone's thinking of doing the same sort of thing, then yeah, I'd give that a go. I was really happy how it turned out, actually. The attachment didn't scratch the frame at all, you know, it just came out really smooth. There was no score marks or anything like that, and I was a bit concerned that the frame may have a few cracks near the welds, and you know, I wasn't sure how bad the rust would have affected the frame, but I was really happy because it looked great. All the welds were perfect, and you know, there was some marks on the frame, but there was nothing major to worry about. So yeah, that was a real relief. So we've got a nice kind of blank canvas to work from. So next up, it's the forks, and after removing the paint, I noticed that the metal had been kind of eaten away a bit by the rust. So thankfully this was only superficial and it wasn't life-threatening at all, so I was able to use a little bit of body filler and fill those bits, give it a quick sand and smooth it out nicely, ready for paint. So there, yeah, that was great. You know, saving the forks is another thing that doesn't go on the scrap heap, which is really important. And then I went on to taking apart this rear derailleur, and I was out on my veranda in the sun, and it's just such a nice thing to do, you know, take something apart, every single little bit, clean it all, and then put it all back together again without having any bits left over, most importantly. I just find doing this sort of stuff really therapeutic, and it takes me to this kind of meditative zen-like state, which I love really. And yeah, it's a nice process. I suppose my goal for this build is to kind of restore as much of this bike as possible, but then any bits that need replacing, I wanted to kind of get period correct parts and, you know, make it true to that era of bike. I mean, it'd be amazing to go back to the original spec, but to be honest, I started replacing parts on this bike back in the 90s, so I don't really think that's in keeping, and I think it would cost me a small fortune to try and get all these bits, and also a serious length of time, and I just don't have that. I want to get out riding again as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm going to leave you with some shots of the stripped down brake levers that are going to get restored. I think it's nice to have a play and allow your mind to wander and do its own thing now and again. So yeah, I'll leave you with that, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.